Good morning, everybody. It is the 6th of March. We are here in the club. Look at, we got a great crowd. We got some Zoomers up there as well. And we got all kinds of videos to share today. So let's see, why don't we start with, Diane, let's start with your video. Tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll check it out.
Okay, so I went to the Animal League and visited with the cats there.
Yay.
And it was interesting. It was challenging. The lighting wasn't that good, and I was using a 60mm lens, so I had to get close and I made friends with the cats first. And I was there for a couple days. I thought it turned out really good. And some of my focus, or what I hope you see, is that these cats, I try to focus on some of the older cats. And I hope you see what I saw with some of the cats that have been there for a really long time. I know one cat was adopted and returned twice.
Oh, well.
So anyway.
All right. Well, let's check that out. Okay. From your applause, I can tell you like that.
Very nice. Diane, there's a website and look it up. I think it's called Choose Me, and it's got the background music for adopting a cat.
Yeah.
It's done by a group of country stars, and it's donated for free use if you're using it in a video like this. It's donated copyright free. The song's called Buttercup, and it's about a cat. It's really well done. Make a great background art.
Okay.
That video, don't show it to my sister-in-law.
And I'm like,
My wife works over there as the photographer, Georgia Potter. She agrees with you about the light over there. She's been complaining about it
Yeah.
for years, but they haven't done a thing about it. But they need to, really.
Did you use any exterior lighting? No, use natural lighting.
The pictures are beautiful.
Yeah, she did a fine job.
I love your pace. I
Yeah.
love the background music and specifically the names of the cat.
Yeah.
You know.
And,
That was perfect.
Heart, shapes around some of them with the,
Vignette.
with the vignettes. Vignette.
I didn't see them.
That's the cat one. The cat's in a box. They're inside a box. Yeah.
They have all different shapes over there.
No bakery involved.
No,
Wait,
Then I had to make sure I had all the cat names correct,
yeah.
because, you know, there's several black cats, so, you know,
Okay, so how long did it take you to put it together?
probably all day Saturday.
And where does it go from here? Are they using it
Well,
for
yeah,
something?
I gave it to them,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know what they're gonna do with it, I haven't talked to anybody since then, but, this morning it was over 100 views.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
yeah,
On Facebook,
no, on, YouTube.
YouTube, okay.
nice.
Yeah, make sure it goes to Showtime too.
Yeah, we'll send that. You bet, I'll send it.
Yep.
You know, the thing that's impressive to me is you have a 60mm lens.
Yeah.
And cats especially do not like when you get a camera right in their face. So to think that you were able to get those tight shots,
Yeah.
to me is incredibly impressive. Because that's tough, you know, if it was me, I'd shoot like 200mm telephoto.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, because at least that way then it's a little easier to do, but that shows that you did spend a lot of time, because it wasn't like one picture right out of the box and away you go. Now, I do have one food for thought for next one. You had some various sizes of text. I don't know if anybody noticed that.
Yeah.
And I didn't see an option of upper right.
Oh, where to put text?
Yeah, I would have put them all upper right.
Okay.
But
All right,
I tried to fit them where
yeah,
it wasn't over their face. or
Sure.
something. And then my choice was, as far as I know, that was my only choice.
Yeah.
For the text font.
sure. We'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into iMovie.
I think you could move it around,
Can you?
grab it.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I just saw different sizes, and to me, from
Yeah.
a consistency standpoint,
Yeah,
if everything was, whatever the size would be the same size going forward on the next project. That just kind of gives it that sameness in terms of, we don't, again, I look at all these things super critically, just because I have
no,
to.
I agree, yeah.
So anyway, we'll look at that and see, yes, sir.
So you're saying a change in text is a bit of a distraction?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I personally I like the idea of there being one consistent size.
Font.
It seems fine.
As well.
What's that?
I think it's like the length. Why not, you know,
Yeah,
Well, that's why lower thirds is so popular with video
Right.
makers. They're dropping in as a type of, or they're texting the lower 1/3 of the picture. And you'll see that when you watch television, you see a lot of that one.
Sure.
It's right in that.
it is very difficult when you're trying to put text in a slideshow like that. Because there's times where you say, okay, this is perfect for 8 out of 10, you know, in the upper right corner, and then for a couple of them, it doesn't work well, and you're trying to have some uniformity if possible, but it doesn't always happen. So you just do the best you can, but I like what you did, and
Yeah, it's great.
I think that also shows us as a group that we can go and do some of these projects for nonprofits.
Mhm.
And you can donate your time, you put a little video together
Right.
for them, you give it to them, they love it. Absolutely love it. I bet the Animal League is gonna be just ecstatic about this, so. Good job, well done.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, all right. Holly, why don't you share, she's got a little video for us that she did. Why don't you share your video?
I wanted to do exactly the opposite, which was just do something automatically
Okay,
without spending much time on it, because and my real time was spent on the Iceland movie. So this is one that was done automatically from an iPhone and a program called Memories, where they come up with a bunch of slides, basically
Okay.
photos that go together. And then you can edit it a little bit, like you can add or delete some photos and a few other things. They can come up with maybe 4 choices of music you can pick.
okay,
And then that's all it is. And I wanted to try doing one in portrait
okay,
aspect ratio. So this is it. It's very short.
okay. Well, let's
And
check
quick.
that out. What do we think? Yes, sorry about the timeline thing, or I don't know why that doesn't go away on something like that, but I'll fix that in post.
I'm glad you ended with the fireplace. The rest of it was cold.
The rest of it was like 4 days before we came down here.
I really like the title.
Thank you.
Do you always have the
Well, and you
option?
tackled a relatively difficult, I find a relatively difficult task of going to the vertical format.
Right,
I have a terrible time with that. It did nothing. It drives me crazy, you know. They did a good job with that.
Do you only have that option, vertical as opposed to horizontal?
No, you don't.
it'd be interesting to, I guess you'd have to look and see what the majority of the photos
That's
are.
what it does. Yeah.
It does it, or you can decide. If you,
No,
if
it
you
doesn't.
said, I've got
Not in Memories. I think it's.
it just
selects.
does it and that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could select and say, okay, a majority of my pictures are horizontal, so I want this to be horizontal. Because the verticals look so nice because they're full frame, which is great.
File, make a separate file for the photos you're gonna use. For the software. to pull it.
Yes. Oh, no, originally it selected.
Oh,
Then you can add or subtract from it. It selects into a file it calls Memories.
Yeah.
You can start with albums where you make the file, which I was telling Kevin, I tried to do that for another one. For a slideshow. So you can, select. Actually, I love the music they selected
oh, dates.
for this album called, I don't know, even though Winter, I think it's called. But I couldn't get it to off the phone. Anybody do that?
How to export it?
Yeah,
You load it up into the iFile?
no, I don't like to put my pictures on the iCloud.
When in doubt,
Then I could,
Google the question.
Yeah.
yeah,
How do I export this from
Yeah.
this Memories video?
yeah, the slideshow video.
Yeah, to either email or.
So the software you use, the choice to pull or put in other photos.
For this one, remember?
This one,
Yes,
and also it added the music.
it added the music and it gave you a choice of maybe 4 pieces.
Did it give you any choice on movement, in or out?
No,
No, it didn't.
Just does it.
but I mean, you can do all that in iMovie on the phone,
Yeah.
but that was the whole point. Not fun time. So.
No, I think it's cool. No
Yeah.
pun intended.
Okay, well, there you go. Does anybody have anything else to add on that? Okay, And I can't remember, I got so many videos today. Somebody gave me one for snow days.
That's me.
Oh, that you, Tom? Okay. Why don't you tell us about it?
So this was last Thursday,
Oh,
and we had snow. Doug and I had been waiting for snow to hit. We had already talked about it, and so we got up early and went out and did some filming. So this is just a short
Okay.
3-minute video from that day.
Okay, let's check it out.
Hello, this is Todd. Hello, my friend Douglas. How are you, my friend? Did I see the weather forecast? You betcha. Uh-huh. Yeah? Yeah, I'd like to go out and play in the snow tomorrow. How about we meet at 7:30? Better dress warm. It's gonna be cold. All right, see you in the morning.
Little money, huh?
How long did it take you to get all the mud off?
Well, that took some work. Some work, especially the GoPro when I was putting it down low. It kind of got muddy, but yeah, we got it covered with mud. I got back home. I just put down out in the garage with our laundry. Just everything right in the washer machine.
I noticed you held the support with your left hand instead of your right. You were inside the unit, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You straight out of the way as much as you could.
But you let Doug drive.
We took turns driving.
No, that mistake.
You can't cut donuts like that except in snow-covered ground, right?
Well, the riverbed, the Santa Cruz riverbed was soft because of all the moisture and everything we had. So.
Oh, God.
I like the hook you put at the beginning. That was a good intro.
Yeah, yeah. The music.
yeah.
You could have also said a mud day.
My dad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great example of just a fun video, you know, nothing other than just, hey, let's go out and shoot some stuff. Let's have some fun.
You got Doug at the wheel, which is scary to me. But other than that, as soon as I saw him, I thought, oh, God.
Well, I wasn't so scared with Doug at the wheel, except for the fact that, I mean, I had my ski bib overalls on and long johns and my 0-degree jacket and everything. I could not get the seatbelt.
Oh.
I have to get the seatbelt behind me or the quad won't go. So then I was one hand was holding on for dear life. And I kept praying, I'm like, Doug, don't pull this over. I'm sure Doug will have a video for this day as well.
Oh, God.
Highway to hell.
Well, that was great. Absolutely great. I just love a video like that.
Yeah. Just a
Fun video.
Yeah. I mean, just you were talking about time. I have about 8 hours to end that, to put that together. You know, because you gotta go through and look at all the footage you have, then to pick out the clips. And as I was doing that, I would label each clip, but then I've got to figure out a better way to understand. So then when I go back, I'm like, okay, this is the clip that I need. This.
I have a technical question. Do you, when you're trying to do that, you have all those video clips, do you, before you import them, do you look at the videos?
Yes.
And do you look at the whole sequence, I mean, of the cut, the one video section, and see if you really want that or part of it?
So what I do, so with the I think with the GoPro or drone, I'm forgetting right now. It does it in 5-minute segments and everything.
Yeah.
So then I would take a look at the whole segment. If it was something I saw in there that was worthy of it and everything, I would mark it and then send it aside and then go on to the next. So view it all. I know from, I mean, what I read, and I'm not a professional like some of you folks are and everything, but what I read at one point, I mean, the ratio, most directors and that, it's a 10-to-1 ratio. So for every 10 minutes of film, they're hoping to get one, unless you're John Huston, which Phil probably knows is he was a 4-to-1 because he didn't want producers and other people screwing around with his work.
Several of Hitchcock was like, he'd only shoot what he was going to use.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, I'm not quite at that level yet.
One of the girls that I know that worked on one of the Star Wars movies said they had 8 hours of film. And when they got done, 8 hours shooting, and when they got done, they had less than 4 minutes of except.
That's a lot of work. I think that's typical without telling you about slideshows. Back when we used to do multimedia slideshows, we shoot 5,000 to 10,000 frames and come up with 20.
Oh,
Yeah, for one carousel.
Back to organizing, do you use some standard terms so you can pre-select them into folders or something?
Yes, yeah, I do. I mean, I have, so for all my video editing, I already have a template set up for all that.
Yeah.
And then what inside the template code, so in the video section, I'll have, you know, drone, my DSLR, other different things like that, and then go inside there and write it down. So that particular one was shot in 3 places. It was shot in the Santa Cruz River, it was shot up around CPAC, and then it was shot up Fox Canyon. And so then I had each of those files under there. And then as I saw something from that area that I thought might be worthy, then I would copy it into there.
Do you have speaking of file system, do you have a software package that helps you file?
No.
Does anybody have a file software package that helps file their cuts?
I'd say about the only, everybody works differently, which is you work the way that you like to work and how you want to organize. And I think that the way that Todd's talking about, which is a great way to do it, is just saying, okay, I've got drone, I've got GoPro, I've got a still camera, put all those separated, keep it that way. At least that way it's more organized. So when you go to edit, okay, in Todd's case, he says, I'm just going to import what I want, what cuts. I personally just import everything and then I want to see it in the editor and then I can skim and do all that. But everybody works differently. So it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I tried that method one time, but then when I got into my files, I'm like, probably half of them I'm not even gonna use,
Right.
so it kind of was throwing me off a little
Sure.
bit and taking me some more time, so then I
Yeah.
went back to, after I preview them, if they're
Yeah.
something I think I can use,
Yeah.
then I move it over. And then the rest I just leave in my,
Yeah, I kind of use a reverse storyboard technique. In other words, I go through and I look at all the raw footage and I pick out clips that I think are gonna be really good and give them a name.
Sure.
So I know what they are. And then I do a storyboard and I move those clips into different places and then finally edit the thing together, you know, so it's kind of a backwards storyboard in that
Sure.
sense. But it works, it's efficient, you know,
Mhm.
it's like cuts of whatever works for you.
right,
Ryan and Susan have this elaborate spreadsheet. they
Right.
use, You know, and so everybody does a little bit differently.
Do you cut the piece in,
Yeah.
looking at it before you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do my original cuts right off the raw footage.
yeah. The other thing I do, and I know Kevin and I talked about this, so I'll have my main timeline and everything, but then when I bring a new full clip in, or a full video, like a 5-minute one, I'll put it on a second timeline and label it. I will do all my editing of it in that second timeline. Then when I have it done, I will copy what I wanted and then move it back to the first timeline. That works for me. You know, you like to do it right on the timeline, you know.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it's just that, it's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
You know, there's no right or wrong way. I guess the
Right.
only thing that you would say is, if you're spending an insane amount of time on something, your method, you may say, okay, well, let's try it a different way, but. And then Arlene is smiling. She knows.
It's only at 50 hours. About real time.
But when you listen to some of the YouTubers and they're saying they do 60 to 80 hours for a 10-minute clip,
Sure.
like, whoa.
Well, and that's, again, it just depends on what you're doing and how involved and complicated it is. It can go really slow or it can go really fast. There may be a bunch of stuff you're having to fix. So, and like Arlene does an animation and stuff, and it takes an ungodly amount of time. But Ellen, Sherry Lee,
10 hours,
yeah,
5 to 10 hours for maybe 2 to 3 minutes.
Wow.
And I know it's hard to believe.
yeah. Well, Sherry Lee, when you do your travel stuff and you've got like a 10-minute, how long are you taking approximately to do that?
I need to figure that out.
You'll feel better if you don't.
But in that 2 weeks, I might have 2 hours one day, 8 hours,
Sure,
2 or 3 days.
yeah,
4 hours another day. I might have a couple days where I won't work on it at all. So, yeah, I haven't really tracked it, but typically it takes me a good 2 weeks as long as I
yeah,
have good space on my calendar to work on it.
yeah,
Well, that one video I did, most of you probably saw it on my family's business. It was just like 6 months long. I had over 100 hours
Yeah.
into that.
yeah.
But that one was worth it. That was really good.
You get into that, I should have would have could have. When you got it all done, you look at it, you know, I should have just changed this, and then you go back and as soon as you go down that rabbit hole, time disappears.
You're right.
Do you
Yeah.
put stuff in it? Do you put stuff together and then see how long your movie is, or do you say, I want a 3-minute movie?
I think it just depends, but normally, unless there's some time constraint that somebody has for you, maybe they said, hey, we just want a quick little 2-minute video.
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, here's what I'm gonna fit in, and if let's say I'm at 3 minutes, now I gotta start cutting, what do I cut?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. I think for our group, we really don't have a time constraint, short of like Holly for her travel one that she's doing on Iceland.
Yeah, travel
want-
runs them under 20 minutes.
And you want for your big one though, for the travel group,
So
they
I
want
made
45 minutes.
So I just made two.
Yeah,
And popcorn.
yeah.
Popcorn, yeah, well, I don't know. That's all.
We will have a lot of questions for tonight's showtime.
It's gonna be in the store, right?
Yeah.
I set a goal at the beginning that I want it to be between 10 and 15 minutes.
Sure.
And then I do it in segments, like what Todd was mentioning. I'll do the video and the word part, not the narration or music. I just do the video portion in sections of like 2 and 3 minutes.
Sure.
Based on what, the like items. And then I'll stick them all together and then I'll put my narration and then I'll put my music. And, and then it always seems to work out. I get within a couple minutes of what I was shooting for. But so I think for me, it's just like a subconscious awareness of here's my target.
Sure.
And then it seems to come together in that, it's magical.
The video timeline is always giving you this.
Sure.
Right.
So you can kind of keep that in your mind as you're working.
Mhm.
And I don't want to put this 15-minute one in where I've already got 10-minute video,
I think that's where you start, when you, especially something that's that long, you start to go, oh God, I'm only a minute in. And
Yeah.
I've got 14 minutes to go.
Well, you also don't want your audience sleeping.
Well, and that's the challenge. I mean, that's when you're sitting there and we're talking about if something's longer, it better be interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And you better have breaks, like changes in topic.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, so it's just, I always think short just because short is easier than long. When you start getting long, then it's like, okay, now I really gotta be even more precise with what I'm doing. You know that. So,
I do.
yes, I've seen your work and you are the same way. When you get long, when you get, let's say, over 5 minutes, it's gotta really be interesting or you're gonna lose people. And I've said this a million times. If you post something on YouTube, the analytics will come after a certain number of views. You will be amazed at how fast you lose people.
Oh, yeah, it's very humbling.
It is incredibly humbling. I did a Yellowstone thing a couple of years ago. It was about 9 minutes long. And within the first minute, I lost half the viewers. Right out of the box. And by the end, maybe you only have 15% that watch it all the way through.
Well, it's really interesting watching these videos because you can see people in
I know you can see how
a long
many.
ways.
Right.
And you can see, I drop out.
Right.
Gone, and, you don't see my interest.
Sure.
You're toast. And of course, that doesn't help them
Right.
if they're trying to monetize their.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. And I think when you start having a shorter video, doing short videos is a little easier. It's easier to keep it interesting. When you start getting longer, and like with Sherry Lee's doing her travel stuff, well, she's done a few of these now, and so she's getting good at it in terms of telling her story and her narration and everything. Well, that's huge in terms of that experience. You're able to hold people's interest longer because you're getting better and better at it. So start short if you're just starting them, and then get a little longer and a little longer, and away you go.
And short, YouTube comes out.
They think they're working on with the shorts. Did you notice on YouTube that they're pumping more shorts?
Sure. Well, and I think that's too a younger generation.
In a vertical.
Or even.
Yeah, my granddaughter's term. Attention is only about 3 minutes long.
What's that called?
3 minutes, it's done.
And your granddaughter's 60 now?
You should maybe let's go back and give him 50 straight now.
Holly's coming out strong today. Amazing. You think so?
I know, I'll pay.
All right.
So one of the things that I would like to have done, but I wasn't able to find it anywhere, I didn't find it in DaVinci, my software editor and everything. I wanted snow day. I really wanted to kind of just break apart and fall down. And I looked around, but I couldn't find anything.
You wanted what?
He wanted the text to.
The text, just to kind of
Fall down.
like After Effects, yeah. Is that in DaVinci?
No,
Or that's just.
Don't be.
Canva. They have some templates and I think one of them is rain or snow. I have to look it up.
Who's this, Gene?
Canva, CANVA.
Okay, thank you. CANVA.
That's for people who want to spend.
And I will tell you, if you start getting in, and none of us want to do this, but I know Arlene does it. I did just a little bit in After Effects, trying to learn it. And I gave up after about a couple hours because it's like, it's so complicated. And you think, I don't have time for this. I want to get back to having fun, not torturing myself trying to figure things
Yeah,
out.
I
So,
spent 2.5 hours trying to, somebody showed me Blender, and all he made was a stick figure in his arm. 2.5 hours. So that's why I tease Eileen. I know how torturous that is.
all right. Well, let's, and the thing, this is what's fun about our group is that we talk about some of these things and goodies. So you're always welcome to bring stuff like that up and ask questions. That's perfect. Arlene, why don't you've got a couple videos for us. Why don't you tell us about, I'm going to show one, let's talk about one, and then we'll show the other one. Which one do you want to start with? You got the owls and the birds? Okay, tell us about the owls.
So these videos were done about 3-4 years ago. I have a birder friend, and so she spots the birds, and I take videos or photos.
Okay.
And that's for both videos.
Okay.
John, you have to leave the room.
Yeah, your ones are back here.
I'm already primed for this.
We decided to go to beautiful Empire Ranch in Sonoyta to see the burrowing owls that were spotted there. We thought we knew where to look, but much to our chagrin, one field looked pretty much like the rest of the 160 acres, and we couldn't spot them.
What do we think?
And it's best.
That was a lot of fun, you know that? It's interesting that here you go out and you're thinking, okay, here's what we're gonna try to go get. And then you get there and you don't have whatever you were after. So it's plan B at that point. What do we get?
One thing, nature never reads the script.
Yes. Does anybody have any?
The songs were genuine. The bird songs.
Yes, sir.
Lead-in lines were very effective. You had really great lead-in lines of the road coming in from the lower left. And it just played right through and it's beautiful. Good job, Arnie.
You know, the one thing I'd like to see, and you kind of did it on your Yosemite piece, you have your credits and then you have a little bit after.
And
How do people feel about that? Would you rather see it? Do you like that, or would you just say, okay,
Well, I mean, she led off with the title of owls.
right,
The whole thing was about cows.
right?
I think the protest of the owls at the end was great.
Well, I'm not saying to get rid of that.
No, I think it's great.
I just wonder if we put the credits at the end.
Oh.
have you watched any of the Marvel movies lately? Okay, the whole audience sits in the movie when the credits go by
Right.
and waits, and nobody gets up.
Well, sure.
Because after the credits, there's
Yeah.
another whole little
It's a
blurb.
caption.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
sure.
you see the whole theater audience knows it's coming, they just sit there and wait.
It's
Well,
kind of like
sure.
a trick to keep your audience through your credits.
Sure.
If they know you or know the movie that
Sure.
they're gonna get afterthought, that's why some people put in bloopers
Well, sure.
at the end of their video.
Oh, sure.
Or on YouTube, they'll put in a segment of bloopers because you can see, well, gee, they're human,
Right.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
The answer is I like it.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
I like the extra stuff.
Arlene, this is the sign that you needed with that.
What's it say?
It says loose cattle. This is over near Whitewater Drive. I was driving down one of the roads. I had to stop and take a picture.
There you go. I love it. Okay, you got your bird one. Well, tell us about that.
Same thing, I go out with my birder friend, she spots them and I take the photo.
Okay, well, let's see what that one looks like.
Really neat.
What do we think of that?
So is that a template that you used to put those on, or did you create that?
I created.
Wow.
That's super well done. That's.
Yeah. One typo, egret is EGRET.
Oh.
7 typos, actually.
Uh-oh,
That's
7?
Yeah,
Yeah, there were seven birds spelled wrong.
7 birds, they spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
The bird sounds, were those authentic?
I mean, you just doing like. Somebody finally beat me from this.
Were all those cover shots yours? Right. Okay.
They were.
Because your photos of the birds is so great. I wish they were bigger.
I agree with that, yeah.
I just wish they were bigger. They were more into, instead of scenery, but they were the bird. I would edit down to the bird because, I mean, it was beautiful shots.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it's hard to see the bird, you know?
I just have a bird question that we got all the experts in the room. How far do those egrets migrate? Because they're at my house in Michigan in the summer, and on the beach fishing.
Are they the same ones?
But so are you.
They try. Did you ask them their names and they said the same one?
Remember, you get terms snowbird?
Why do you think they're white?
There you go.
I also thought maybe some movement in some of them because they were all just static. And so maybe do, the Ken Burn, just a little bit of movement instead of
I
just
don't
have.
know if you would be able to do that with the template. Well, I should say you're taking your bird images and you're making them fit on the canvas, so to speak.
Just a gallery, just like setting up a gallery.
Yeah, like I don't think I agree with Todd, but what I liked was on some of them, you've got a big picture of the type of bird, but then you've got different shots of the same bird and you pop them in and out. I like that technique because it gives you some movement.
Right.
As opposed to picture after picture after picture.
Try something different.
Yeah.
You know what, and I think that's okay.
And the text was on long enough to read.
Yeah.
You didn't have any bird sounds though.
Man, you're getting jammed today now, John.
Oh, no, not at all.
Oh,
They're
never.
agreeing with me.
You know what, that was done like 3-4 years ago, so.
Oh, okay,
Things have changed.
yeah.
I like that you identified the birds, but I wish you had.
Spelled
identified
right
them.
out.
Two of those were misidentification.
But, I wanted to know which hummingbirds they were. Cause you had some shots of some hummers I hardly ever see that what is that? They were great shots.
And I did like.
But there were 7 misspellings.
Well, 5 misspellings and 2 misidentifications.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? I'm gonna send you the video and then you can tell her at what point she's got misspellings.
I'd be delighted.
She probably.
But I guess like the information you were providing, that was good.
Yeah.
Well, that was, you mean with the corrected?
Those hummingbirds taste sweet.
Oh, you know the
Yeah.
the thing that you end up, as you're saying, here we've got some misidentifications. You're probably like, I'm not going back. You're doing it again. Well, seriously, you may just say, that's it, I'm done, I don't care. You reach a point where you say, okay, if I really care about the project, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna post this. But the other thing I would say too is, quickly, by trying something a little different, I like that idea in terms of how you present it. Would I want you to do everything that way? No. But to just, experiment a little bit, try something and say, okay, this is an interesting technique to have a still image, then I'm gonna insert pictures on the frame, so to speak, the easel. And
that was neat.
And you also maybe learn some other techniques that you can use down the road. Not that you're gonna do the same exact thing, but you're able to do some different stuff. So it's always a learning process.
But if you are doing it, get rid of that nasty grinning person in the lower left.
Oh.
You know what I'm To the lower left corner of the easel.
Here.
It was in the stock frame.
Get rid of that.
Hang on.
Oh, very distracting.
Spelling, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
looks like a shark. Or no, it is a person,
It's
I
a
guess.
person, and as you go further in, you see more of it.
Yeah, later on you can see
Yeah.
it.
At the end, they're really.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end, it jumps out at the end.
Yeah, at the end, I know, that's when it really, yeah. You're doing it in Photoshop.
All right. Does anybody have anything else on that? Okay.
I have a short lit on those.
No. You're gonna be banned from the group. There's gonna be a mutiny on the deck here.
You're gonna start a new group.
There you go.
Create a spawner.
All right, well, Sherry Lee, why don't you tell us about your video, please?
Do you want us to show it?
Yeah, sure she will.
Vietnam portion of the trip that we took to Southeast Asia. And I discovered something, from the previous feedback of my captioning, it's like I wanted to keep it consistent through the entire trip. So this series of videos are all the same captioning or font.
Yeah.
And the complaint that I've gotten is that because it's difficult to read it at times because it's on top of the pictures, So I learned how to put a shape behind it and opaque some of the pictures, so it's easier to read. So that was really exciting for me to Google YouTube for a video to learn how to do that with my software and then have it work. So now I have a new little skill under my belt, and we'll see what you think if it helps or not really helps. But I'm not changing the font. This whole thing, so people are just gonna have to squint.
All right. Let's see what you got.
Xin chào. We flew from Cambodia to Vietnam, welcomed by our local guide T.
Xin chào, my name T. Yeah, I'm local guide in Saigon, and I would like to share about the name Saigon and Ho Chi Minh City. As you know, before 1975, this area used to call Saigon. Yeah, and after 1975, our Vietnamese government, communist government, we changed the name from Saigon to Ho Chi Minh City. And Ho Chi Minh is the name of the first president in Vietnam. In Vietnam, everyone we call Ho Chi Minh with the name Uncle Ho to show our respect. Thank you and welcome to Saigon.
We had lovely accommodations and a great view. Our Mekong Delta discovery began with a visit to a traditional common hammock cafe for one of the country's most famous beverages, Vietnamese coffee. Along with a rest in a hammock. At the dock, we boarded a motorized wood rice barge, enjoyed a coconut snack, and carefully disembarked for a walk.
In the Lunar New Year, it starts to have the flower, and this flower have the yellow. We call the apricot blossom, but in Vietnamese language we call Mai, M-A-I. Mai is mean lucky, so we want something lucky for our family from the New Year's. Mai. Yeah. Wow! Look at the man over here, everyone. He's the farmer.
The farmer invited us to his home. This was not a pre-planned visit. Such a nice surprise. and he was so cordial and funny. Next, we got to experience sampan rides.
Đúng rồi, con được nó ra. Nó được rác lớn không? Gãy luôn.
Then on to a local restaurant via Xelambro, a three-wheeled carriage, for an amazing meal prepared at our table. Our city tour included a walk down Book Street, where the apartments are not allowed to cook but must eat out. A famous building is the post office. A delightful surprise was meeting a young boy who spoke multiple languages fluently. The Tao Dan Park is the biggest public green space in Saigon. The Independence Palace, called the Reunification Palace by the Communists and the White House by the Republicans, was the site of a dramatic finish to the Vietnam War as tanks crashed through the main gate on the morning of April 30th, 1975. Today, it is a time capsule unchanged since the 1970s. On the way to lunch, we stopped at a secret bunker hidden in the floor of a very narrow building and enjoyed the music of a boombox. One of our highlights was the optional street food adventure, which began with cyclo-rickshaw rides. First stop for banh mi, a Vietnamese sandwich. Then on to motorcycles for the remainder of our adventure. Second stop for local pizza made with grilled rice paper and traditional spring rolls. Braving the traffic once again, we head to the neighborhood of an old wartime apartment building for fresh seafood and local beer. Final ride got all of us back to our hotel safely. Welcome to the Cu Chi Tunnels, a 125-mile underground multi-level maze tunnel system under villages where thousands of fighters and villagers hid and fought during the Vietnam-American War. The ground level was full of booby traps, bomb craters, and hidden openings to the tunnel. A Viet Cong vet explained how they were set up and shared about his life during the war and in the tunnels. Another guide demonstrated how easily and quickly they could hide. And seemingly pop up from nowhere. We also had an opportunity to experience a portion of the tunnel. This took us to a meeting room, complete with bats. We were sure glad to get out. Another highlight concluding our trip was lunch at a local restaurant, but not any restaurant. It belonged to T's family. We got to meet his parents and his lovely new wife, saying goodbye to all our new friends. Except Rosie, who joined us on the post-trip extension back in Thailand, which is the next video. Enjoy!
Well done.
What do we think?
Was this a nice job? Was this a set tour that you took, or was it something you
Yes.
planned?
No, it was with Overseas Event Travel.
That's cool.
The titles work perfectly with your background.
Yeah, it made a difference.
Oh, yeah.
How much did they pay you to go into the tunnel?
Well, I was really impressed that as many of our group went in. I mean, I pretty much always go in for whatever is going on that's available, but a lot of the people don't, and quite a few of them did, so I was pretty impressed.
Your storytelling is great as always, and you know that's the thing that we just talked about. There's a video that's, I don't know, 8-10 minutes long. I was like, that could have been 15. It flows well, and
it keeps your interest.
Well, that's the key.
You know, if you can keep your audience sitting on the front of the seat, that's what's cool.
Well, and I think ultimately when you get all this done, and if you put this trip, all these different videos from all these countries together, you're going to probably have something that's 50 minutes, an hour maybe. But I'd sit through the whole thing and love it, just in terms of all these different countries. You go into the food, the culture. And your narration is always a spot on.
And I really like that when you took the photograph of the food. You can taste it.
Well, that was also a neat technique that I liked, that you had the menu on one side, and then you would show the different foods as you went, which was kind of nice. Just because we look at it, we don't see it. You know, we don't know what it is.
Well, and that was Tom's wife. She said she wanted to know what the food was, and most of the time I don't know what the food is. I just take pictures, you know. And so I was glad that I had the menu with those pictures, so I actually was able to say what they were. But most of the time I don't. So in future trips, I'll try and be better about that.
It's just a nice technique.
You get that smell-o-vision.
Nice.
I really like the collage of the buildings at the beginning here. It was very nice.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anything? I don't have any other videos. I think that's it for today in terms of videos. Does anybody have anything that they want to add or say? We got showtime tonight, 7 o'clock.
In the answer room.
Answer room. for those that want to
And
go.
popcorn.
And popcorn. And then, what speaker series?
Speaker series is on the 16th.
Okay. All right.
2 in the afternoon.
Okay. All right. So we'll mention that next week.
And we have travel log on the 14th.
Okay.
In your class, Thursday.
Yeah, apparently I have to study. We're doing iMovie on Thursday. We've got another little session, so if you haven't signed up and want to come, we've got, the good thing is we have a couple people that have suggested some things that they want help with, which is good. If you're coming and you have a suggestion, let me know so I can research it and make sure I can answer the questions. So that would be.
Would you be interested in having a class on a Windows version of iMovie?
Windows version of iMovie.
Sure. Windows 11 now has a movie built into it that if you drag it up, it looks a whole lot like
it's just.
Are you going to teach it?
Yeah, well, if there's an interest.
Do you want me, you know what I can do, or just quickly what I can do, Gene, when I put out the summary?
Yeah.
I will mention that.
We have one in.
Okay.
Let's put down we have it.
Anybody know what it's called?
Yeah, it's called Clipchamp.
Clipchamp.
CLIPCHAMP. It's available, it comes with Windows 11, but you can download it into 10. It's available at the Microsoft Store.
How many people use Windows?
Yeah, there's a few. The other thing I would suggest too, if you have not given me your email and you get my summary, the summary that I send out each week, please send your email to me, kevin@kevinmay.com. And I will get your email address on there. So you'll receive the summary because it's always good to see what we've got. I put the YouTube link up there so you can see the videos and stuff that we shared today. And then also, I also send out a reminder usually on Sundays just to say, hey, we're meeting, or in a couple of weeks I'm gone. Todd's going to be hosting. So anyway, I try to let people know. All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for those not going to the iMovie class on Thursday, we do have a field trip to the Gadsden Pacific Division Toy Train Operating Museum. So if you've ever been as a kid, played with Lionel trains, HO scale trains, they've got every shape and model of train in this museum. And right now the attendance is a little bit low, maybe because of the iMovie class, but the more the merrier. We've got plenty of room for the trip. So if you're inclined, please sign up. The other thing is after basically 12 years of running our Facebook page, Judith Pollard is retired from that job. And so Sue Reddy has picked up the challenge of being the Facebook coordinator, and I'm kind of giving her some silent partner support. And so we're looking at doing quite a few more things with our Facebook page to include video snippets, short videos. Looks like we've got a new genre of video that we're going to have called 15-second slams. And
you're a victim
but if you
first time.
have a short video that you'd like to have us post on our Facebook, by all means get a hold of me or Sue and let us know. We're also using it to advertise our events and so forth. So, you know, we're trying to get better use out of our Facebook page, right, and also get more frequent postings on it, so it gives you a reason to go check us out from time to time.
Wonderful. Well, that's good to hear. Well, the more the merrier. You know, that's the one thing in closing, I would say that I love about, we have our snowbirds here. We get great attendance at the club, which is wonderful. And then come a couple of months when the snowbirds fly home, we're going to probably go to our bi-monthly. We'll do our off week like we've done in the past, where we'll meet twice a month during the summer. And then we'll have an off week, we call it. And that's actually the time to come in. If you have something you want to work on or share, we plug into the TV and we can try to solve problems. And usually we just sit around and laugh, and we have a good time. So anyway, yes, sir. I want to say that probably starting in May, we'll go to bi-monthly, because by the end of April.
Most of the states.
No, bi-monthly. You said bi-weekly.
We'll go every other week.
Oh,
yeah.
I got into Gene's gummies this morning.
My monthly is.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
They're both right.
We're both
right next door to the animal leagues.
Yes, sir.
I just try to keep.
Is Thursdays iMovie section, is that where you're talking about the audio layering?
We're gonna try to do that and just a little bit of that, and then there was a couple other things which I can't remember that people have suggested they want some help with, so I'll try to. What's that? Drones in iMovie?
Yeah, just drones.
Did you do the drone class? Oh, well, you know, we can always talk about drones as a separate goodie at some point, and that's no problem.
And I
So,
would
yes,
too, I would like to do that. as
talk
well.
about drones?
Yes.
Okay,
Are you going to post that iMovie class on YouTube?
yes, I did the first one and I sent out to everybody. See, that's why,
Yeah.
well, I sent it out to everybody that was there for iMovie and also those that signed up that couldn't make it. And I will do the same thing again, and what I'll probably do, I'll send out the link for the first one and then the second one when we'll
With
do
this.
that. Okay,
Perfect.
all right, everybody, thank you. Have a good week. We'll see you next week on the 13th.